Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. It's raining here again in Eastern Kentucky. Welcome back to Alternative Homesteading. This is Lorraine. And I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that has a birthday in the month of December. Happy birthday for the Sagittarians and Capricorns out there. I'm going to read a response on Quora from Karen Stewart. I was actually going to sign on and respond to it, but she responded to it December 1st. And it is an astounding response. I can't really add anything to it. So here, I'm just going to show you first what it looks like in case you're on Quora and want to search for it. Karen Stewart is a former intelligence analyst. She's retired. She worked at the NSA between 1982 and 2010. The question was posed, what is the difference between gang stalking, organized stalking, and electronic harassment? So I'll read that response to you guys. Gang stalking, organized stalking are synonymous. FBI fusion centers recruit and train stupid, gullible, sociopathic, and greedy people from all walks of life to participate in the fraud, targeted individual program to falsify accusations that this or the person is a, quote, threat or terrorist or a terrorist sympathizer. FBI fusion centers rake in billions of dollars from the federal government and state governments essentially to fabricate false dossiers on innocent people to pretend Americans are under threat and need the FBI fusion center services. We don't. They are the only terrorists. And by the way, folks, I don't know if you saw my post that another one bites the dust. Another one of those critters, the FBI critters, have stepped down. I guess they're going to do their investigation of their own selves and find themselves to be not guilty. Just like the Manalapan Police Department. But I digress. But it would seem they use this money to make personal fortunes as well. According to the PAA, NDAA, if you are a suspected terrorist, you could be secretly, contrary to the Sixth Amendment, stripped of your constitutional, civil, and human rights. And assassinated. This is apparently to enable them to sell access to you for elements of your harassment and torture that benefit A, the military-industrial complex, which pay to use or have proxies use electronic weapons, pulse microwave, radio frequencies, etc., gases, and or poisons on you, and let B, Big Pharma access you to pump you full of, let's see what happens when, drugs, usually in your, in parentheses, induced sleep. Let C, companies vested in transhumanism access you to inject you with various types of microchips, nanoparticles, and miniature devices in your induced sleep or during the medical operations which they hijacked. That's happened to me, folks. They tortured me after they drilled a hole through a perfectly healthy tooth to cause me to get a cap, and then while I'm recovering, enter my house and insert something underneath the tooth to vibrate it for the next year. You, as a human with no rights now, have no right to refuse. You are a permanent non-consensual guinea pig, a throwaway in a supposedly overpopulated world that just happens to make these parasites billions of dollars. FBI Fusion Center and complicit law enforcement selling you out. Visit church groups, PTAs, garden clubs, mosques, yes, mosques, temples, social groups, etc., and even have liaisons with actual criminal gangs and mercenary groups set up to stalk people on a freelance basis in order to recruit their services as proxy stalkers. Each group is used in rotation and likely told a tailored lie to rile them up. For instance, they will tell a temple that you are an anti-Semite. They may wish to inflict punishment on you, as where if you tell that to a mosque, they would hardly care. So the lie to the mosque must be that you are anti-Muslim, although technically they are Semites too. Well, folks, they can't do that to me. I actually dated a guy who was Muslim many years ago. So they can't use that one against me, you losers. Stalkers are used to intimidate and keep the victim off balance and impotent. The stalking modus operandi is also designed on purpose to make you sound like you're paranoid schizophrenic when you report what the stalkers are doing, thereby discrediting yourself immediately to friends, family, police, lower level police who may not be complicit, before the actual torture can at times even get ramped up. If they do not believe you about the PSYOP stalking, they sure will not believe you about silent, invisible weapons used on you. Well, I'll tell you, folks, my mother absolutely believed everything. She witnessed it. She actually had a security consultant come to my house and tell me about this stuff. So the vermin of the world have selected the very best people to eradicate from money, power, prestige, which psychopath leadership has chosen to do to get rid of potential resistors in their new world order. Good people, people who are incorruptible, independent thinkers, creative, smart, are being targeted and eliminated by the bad sheep, who are infinitely more controllable for the elites based on their base desires and lack of character and intelligence, and more on the predictable animal level than human. Yes, folks. Yes, the perpetrators that are perpetrating crimes against me. But I hate to say animal level, because animals are, animals can be predators, but the only reason they're predators is to eat. They do not kill just for the sake of killing. They don't kill other animals to torture them and just leave them hanging. They kill them if they feel a threat to their family members, like a lion, might kill an animal that's going to attack their cubs or the pride, whatever. But they don't just do it for fun. They don't just do it to get their kicks off. And they certainly don't do it for profit. They do it as survival. It's a survival mechanism to eat. So anyway, there was an individual that responded to this. And I'll read the response to you, folks. Let's see. So he says, in the end of her post, where she describes targeting free thinkers and incorruptible folks, etc., reminds me of when leaders of the Third Reich invaded Poland, and knowing those types of people would prevent the regime from taking place, control over Poland were the very first to be executed. They were the first. Literally, 60,000 doctors, lawyers, and academics and teachers of any kind were the first to be executed from the very first days of the war. None of this shit is new, he says. It's the very same recipe that has been used for decades, and yet so many people cannot seem to connect the dots or cannot see how their participation in it is not going to work out well for them either. It is so disheartening. Whoever said it pays to be intelligent and think outside of the box clearly hasn't spent much time examining history. That was an excellent commentary excellent post by Karen Stewart. And I will add, and I'm sure you'll all agree, that you have all experienced these psychological operations, the slander against you. Some of the best people are the ones that are being targeted for this very reason. Doctors, lawyers, writers, journalists, academics, people who speak out, people who don't back down, like me. I'm not a back-a-downer. I'm not going to sell my soul to this agenda or the devil. And I believe that Carmageddon is the new word order. They can take their new world order and shove it where the sky don't shine, where the sun don't shine. Because these are a bunch of psychopaths and malignant narcissists. And what's going to happen when we're all gone? And then they're going to be stuck with all the sheeple people. And then what? They will use those sheeple people, the only ones that are left, as their slaves, folks. Just saying. Please leave your comments down below. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. If you enjoyed the article, the commentary, please feel free to share if you're inclined to do so. And once again, happy birthday to everybody in the month of December. Happy birthday. And this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading signing off on a rainy day in Kentucky.